All right, so here we are again with another G.I. Joe Classified Series unboxing, and this is the Cobra Techno-Viper. So there we go. I don't think it's that kind of techno, actually. If I remember correctly from the file cards describing these guys in the original line, they're basically like mechanics. So maybe the proper term should be Technician Viper, but you know, who am I to argue with Cobra Commander? So let's go ahead and get started on opening this up. We can see that he is in, was it Hong Kong? Is that what that is? Is that where he is? Or is that Japan? I don't know. I can't tell. But got a nice alleyway background with lots of neon in the back. Got a nice portrait of the Techno-Viper over here on the side. Same artwork on the front. Let's go ahead and open them up. He is figure 117 of the G.I. Joe Classified line. Maybe I've bought too many of these things at this point. All right, so Techno-Viper comes with several tools to help him in his trade. He's supposed to like repair tanks and stuff like that with this stuff. So here we go. Like, looks like there's some hydraulically powered tools. We'll discuss that shortly. They do seem like they're in kind of a fluby, sort of rubbery material, a bit more flexible than I generally like for G.I. Joe accessories to be. I'm guessing they probably molded it in the same kind of plastic that they did the hose, and that's probably why. And, of course, the famous Techno-Viper laser rifle. Funky, unique design. And that attaches to the hose as well. It seems like it's also made out of the more rubbery plastic, but since the rifle is a bit thicker, it doesn't suffer from the flubiness as much as the other ones do, except here at the stock and here at the barrel. So be careful with that when you put it into storage so it doesn't get warped. We've got this holographic display, clear plastic with some stuff sculpted into it. And I believe that attaches into his wrist. And then we've got, oops, dropped it. Well, crap. Where did it go? I know it fell on top of my Batmobile that I have down there. But, oh, there, I see it. Please stay right there until I can grab you. There we go. I've still got that big McFarlane Batmobile down there so I can get a proper shelf set up for it, which eventually I will. And then finally, the Techno-Viper's backpack, which has got a couple little gas canisters on there. I suppose you can pretend that's whatever kind of gas you want to. So we have the figure himself. No rubber bands, no plastic tabs, no anything keeping him in the package. I keep telling you that stuff's unnecessary. But yeah, we got him out of the package just fine. Here he is. He's got that distinctive Techno-Viper helmet, which to me, you know, you can point out similarities to, like, say, Darth Vader or the Legion of Doom's headquarters. The main thing this helmet reminds me of is the bad guy robots in the Black Hole. You know, the old Disney, what ostensibly people look at as being like a Star Wars knockoff, but it's really just more like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in space. I guess maybe it could be a Star Wars knockoff if it was made by people who just didn't understand what the appeal of Star Wars was and just thought, oh, it's a space movie. Kids like space movies. Let's make one of those. But regardless, he's got that cool purple outfit, 2 tones of purple. Got that silver Cobra sigil on his chest. And various other cool details. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. Oh yeah, here's the wrist that the red hologram is supposed to display on, and it's got like a little screen on it. Oh, that's going to be fun to play around with. Okay, so before we do anything else, let's go over his articulation. Okay, so he can look up about that far. He can look down about that far. Tilt his head quizzically from side to side. Rotate the head all the way around. It's a G.I. Joe classified figure, so he's going to have good neck articulation for the most part. It does look like it's got the separate neck articulation at the base of the neck where it meets the shoulder, but this collar kind of hinders it a little bit. I can't really do much with it, so oh well. The arms have these shoulder pads on them, but they are a separate piece, and you can still get the arms to move up fairly high. And the shoulder piece is attached, like actually at the. It's kind of cool how they did this. It looks like it's actually attached at the bicep, and there's like a little tab here that holds it on, and it clips around the I'm sorry, not the bicep, the deltoid. It clips around the deltoid. So they actually did a really good job because it rotates with the articulation this way. They actually did a really good job of making a shoulder pad that is a separate piece and doesn't actually hinder the articulation that much. I mean, like maybe a little bit in terms of moving it up, but not that much. I'd be careful with moving it up all the way though, because I wouldn't want to break that tab. It does look like it's fairly narrow. I'd say it's probably not more than like a 16th of an inch. He does have a bicep swivel, so the bicep rotates all the way around. He's got a butterfly joint, so we can move his shoulders back about that far and move them forward about that far. He's got the double jointed elbow. Seems a bit stiff on mine, but I was able to get it going. That's about the range of articulation you get at the elbow. The wrists, of course, rotate all the way around. This one has a horizontal hinge on it, which I generally prefer for characters who are going to hold a rifle to have a vertical hinge. But no, they're just two horizontal hinges. So that's a little disappointing, but c'est la vie. This does look like to be a whole lot of original sculpting. I don't see a whole lot of reused sculpting. If anybody knows any parts that are reused on the sculpting of this, please let me know in the comments, because I might just be overlooking something. But this is surely an original torso, because that couldn't be anything but the Techno-Viper. At least not in terms of what I've seen so far. They could maybe reuse this for a Moto Viper. They want to. Motor Viper. Is it Moto Viper or Motor Viper? I forget. So, yeah, I got that hinge at the torso, so you can move back about that far, move forward about that far. The waist joint seems to be a little loose, but you can move that waist joint around whichever way you want to. It's one of those good GI Joe classified waist joints that I like so much. He can kick up about that far. He can kick higher than Quick Kick. Go figure. And I was pretty happy with Quick Kick's ability to kick up, but Techno-Viper's got him beat. You would not expect that, but there you go. He can do the splits, no problem. All right, so got double jointed knees. There we go with the double jointed knees. Pretty cool. He's got these almost sort of Wellington type boots, but they've got a little extra detail to them. We'll rotate the boot all the way around at the boot cut. Toes point down about that far. Toes point down about that far, and he's got the rocker ankles, so you can rotate it all the way around that way. So you get a lot of good articulation out of those ankles. Now, Techno-Viper comes with a lot of accessories. So let's go ahead and go over those. First, I'm going to put in this backpack, because we're going to want to connect the hose to the backpack, and most of these accessories are going to connect to that hose. So there he is with the backpack on. It seems like it's in there pretty firmly, not gonna come out unless we want it to come out, hopefully. So let's move on to the next thing. So he's got this hose, and we got to figure out, where does the hose attach? Where am I supposed to attach this hose? Oh, well, let's go ahead and talk about this first. He's got this pistol. I believe this pistol is reused from the bats. Actually, he might reuse some bat parts to him, now that I'm really thinking about it. I never had the bat figure in G.I. Joe Classified, so that would be why I don't recognize it if it is the bat parts. But I bet he reuses some bat parts, at least in the lower legs. I bet that's something that's reused. So yeah, he's got the gun there. It's got a little hole in the barrel, so you can put little pew-pew blast effects in there. So let's go ahead and put that in the holster. Now I'm going to figure out where to attach this to. Now it looks like you can attach it to either one of these tanks at the top, because there's little pegs up there. And what looks like a peg over here, but I think it's too small. So it's probably just supposed to be an antenna for his, a little antenna for his walkie-talkie there. So you can attach the hose to the backpack. But that causes some problems there because if you want to attach it to this rifle, there's not that much hose to it. So I'm going to put the rifle in his hand first. We're going to start with the rifle. And you see where the hose is supposed to attach. It's supposed to attach there. Well, do we have enough length on the hose? Do we have enough length on the hose that we can do that? Just barely. And I had to hook it in under his armpit. Really, there should be another place to, and you can see it's even starting to come loose there a little bit. Really, there should be another place to attach this, but I don't see another place. You probably could just tuck it in between there if you wanted to. And that might be the best thing to do with that for now. But I don't see any other pegs or anything to put on his the hose on the figure or anything like that. Unless I have the whole thing upside down. But I don't think that's gonna give much. That doesn't look right. Yeah, if you were gonna have it be that way, you would think it should be lower on the back. But it does at least give him a little bit more room to move his rifle around. I don't think they thought that through very well. I'm pretty sure that's how that was in the original figure, but that doesn't make it. Usually they improve on stuff like that when they do these. But that's about the only place I can see to do it. Now, I don't see any place to store the rifle, which really surprises me. You would think that would be something that they would do with this figure. So, but we do have all these extra accessories, and you can connect the hose to that. I'm going to put it back facing the other way. Well, that's kind of disappointing. They should have found a better place to hook that hose. But you can hook the hose to the other accessories, like I hooked it to this wrench, and it can attach to the backpack. Or you could probably just have him holding the accessories by themselves. So he's got all these tools, like this little tool kit, and he can use those for his technician activities. Like I said, he basically works on tanks, is what he's supposed to do. So, but I don't think I ever used him in that way. I think I took the name Techno-Viper a little more literally and had him be more of a computer guy, is what I generally did with him. And the tools still made sense for him because I could have him using the tools if he had to repair the hardware, take apart a computer or something like that. So that's pretty much that as far as the tools go. And you can also fit them into the little slots on the backpack, just like with the original figure. And I like to have the tools kind of facing in opposite ways of each other. So like one tool would have, you see I have like the wrenches on either end facing that way and the hammer facing the opposite direction there. So despite my disappointment with how this hose is working out, he's still a pretty cool figure. But I think they could have done a better job with this hose. Either they should have made this hose a lot longer than what it was, or given you a different spot on this figure to. Oh, I think I came up with a clever idea. All right, so here's our solution to how we're going to do this. You're going to thank me for this. All right, so I'm going to switch these around because I want to have the pegs facing in the opposite direction. So now we have the pegs on the backpack. Now I have a lower peg to attach this to. Now technically, I'm attaching the rifle to a wrench, which does not make any sense. But this is a toy. We can use our imagination. So then, you know what? I think I'd rather have that facing the other way because I'm going to put this in his left hand. You'll see why in a second. Oh, no, wait. I don't have to do that. I got to have it in his right hand. Okay. Because he's got one of these on each wrist. So I can have him displayed, have the display on one wrist and hold the rifle in the other. So let's put the rifle back in his hand. Okay, I've got this figured out. I figured out a solution. I solved the problem with their design flaw, unless they intended it to be this way, and they probably shouldn't, because this isn't like the smartest way to put this together. Uh, they should have just put an extra peg on the backpack. But I found a way around it. So instead of attaching it to the peg on the backpack, just attach it to one of the pegs on one of the tools. And there we go. So it's still attached into his backpack. It still looks the same. Like I said, technically it's attached into the wrench, but it's not in any way that you can really tell, especially if you're looking at it from the front. And then you've got like enough slack with the hose that you can pose him however you want to. So we could have him grip the hose to hold the laser rifle. And shisha, that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? There we go. All right. Now, last but not least, this is the innovation that they had for this character, which I really like, and that's this little wrist display. This is something I would probably give to some GI Joe characters too. Like I could imagine like Dial Tone or Mainframe if they ever get around to doing those guys in Classified. I can imagine either one of those having something like this, or if they did the female version of Dial Tone, which I like her, so they should probably do both the original Dial Tone and his sister, because I think that would be pretty cool. So he can be like analyzing things or communicating back at the base. I really like that little display thing. That's pretty cool. So Techno-Viper is a flawed but excellent figure. And like I said, once you figure out a way around that hose being too short, and then putting the connectors for the hoses way up high, way too high. Once you figure out a loophole around that, that improves this figure greatly. So I'm really happy with how he turned out. Now, I was going to tick off some points for that, and I probably still will tick off some points for that, but that does not mean that this is a figure you can pass by. I think he's one you should definitely pick up. But keep in mind, there is a design flaw to it, but I found a loophole around it. So if you're watching this, you can copy my method and be thankful to me. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. He's a pretty cool army builder that I would suggest picking one up. I'm probably not going to buy like a whole lot of these guys, but if I find any more of them like on clearance or something somewhere, I might pick up what I can find. But as it is, I think it'd be fine just to have one of these guys to back up your regular Blue Troopers or Vipers or Crimson Guard or whatever. You don't really need like 100 Techno-Vipers. I'd say like one per dozen of a Cobra Blue Troop is good enough. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the Techno-Viper. I will be back hopefully on Monday, and I will have this guy to open up, Airborne. So he might be the one I open up Monday, unless I'm able to pick up Big Boa in between now and then, which I might be able to, I might not. I guess we'll just see what happens with that. But if I get Big Boa sometime between now and Monday, I will open up that figure and do Airborne on Tuesday. I'd rather save Airborne for last, because that's the one I was looking forward to the most. Anyway, we will talk to you next time. Bye.